Hi, good evening. My name is Mrinal, and I want to talk to you about three or four articles today, which I had written long back, but they remain very much in the reckon if you're in a consulting space, if you work in the corporate, right, and if you have close association with hiring, structuring your communication, and communication is an important part of your uh, everyday life, then uh, this is something very interesting. So, the first article that I'm going to talk to you about, I came across a book which is called The Pyramid Principle. This is a book on critical thinking and structured writing written by an ex McKinsey consultant, Barbara Minto. And today it is said that after so many years, none of the reports that McKinsey sends to its clients uh, go without being vetted against the pyramid principle and other concepts that are available in Minto's book. So if you find that book, try and read it and try and understand for yourself. But mostly this book is not available in India, and I have never seen it available even. Not much to worry about it. You can find many of those people who have made videos and have written their commentary on that book. Uh, YouTube is the best place to go for it, or Google it and find it out, right? But since I had that book and I gave it to one of my previous bosses, I worked for a company called Infoceps Technology, a great company to work for that is into BI technology. So, they gave me certain books and I in exchange had given them certain books, but we never really returned each other's books. So this is what happens with great books. But the good thing is that we are preserving those books, and then hopefully everybody does that. So let's talk about what exactly I want to tell you about the critical thinking and structured writing. Is that Bauer-Mito's pyramid principle is something which is a great concept to know first. If I take you to, you will find that there are a number of videos which are available. So I suggest you can go through it. Now, the fundamental question is that this is the pyramid that we are going to talk about, right? So, pyramid in a communication says that it's an inverted pyramid. So, suppose this is your inverted pyramid, which is resting on this, the answer, right? So, there are three layers to it, which is called SCQA. There are actually four layers, not just three. There are four layers to it. So, if you find this pyramid written anywhere, you will find that there are four layers. The bottom layer is called situation. S is situation, right? So whenever you are in a situation where you're responding, you're giving updates on it, if you're briefing to a new set of people, right, or you're trying to address a new challenge or a problem, you would be able to communicate, right? And this is mostly for communicating through emails, communicating through any of the mediums for that matter, using PowerPoint. You're communicating by sending reports, whether it is converted into PDF or not, doesn't matter, right? So let's talk about that. But yeah, I mean, in this article, you'll find that I have mentioned that Edward Debono says analysis, judgment, and argument are not enough. Critical destruction has never produced a better one. It is creativity that produces the better hypothesis, right? So critical destruction is probably ending things, right? That's the brutal way of ending anything. If you are open-minded and if you have appreciation for the other parallel views, which you should have in order to be accepted by others too, because if your opinions are only for yourself and they don't travel to anybody else, don't make any sense to anybody else, uh, probably it's a lose-lose kind of a situation. So that's very important thing. So critical destruction not required in a continuous communication space where we keep on learning, evolving, building relationships, and that's how we operate and function in a society. An organization is a part of that society, right? That has its own rules and frameworks and principles it works on. Second thing is that it is creativity that produces the better hypothesis. It is a very important statement. So it says that creativity is something which you find out of the current existing problem scenarios, assumptions, observations everybody else is also making, you make something very interesting out of it by pulling things which probably not everybody can see. Maybe a different way of looking at it, maybe not defining the problem as a problem as such, but redefining something as a bigger problem than that. You all have heard, we all have heard about the elephant in the room, right? The bigger question is a kind of metaphor which says that it's such a big animal in the room, right? And you are not noticing it. So, what is the biggest problem? That's what they say. The biggest problem is very obvious. It is normally said and understood. Different in the room is the question that is in the face, right? You can't really ignore it. You can't really defy it. Those kind of things. So now coming back again to why creativity produces better hypothesis is that hypothesis is something which is required for you to solve any problem. That's the first statement that you make, uh, and which is normally being told by scholars that it has to be a negative statement for that matter, right? So suppose you're finding a problem to the malaria issue, which is recurring in certain districts of, say, Orissa for that matter, which is affecting lives of people and therefore economy and therefore their health conditions and therefore several things, right, associated with that. Now, if somebody goes there and finds a solution how to end malaria there, right, that person would make a hypothesis that malaria is, say, let's say a statement is being made, which is a hypothesis that malaria is more of a human created uh, menace than a mosquito created menace in Bolangir and other districts of Orissa. Now, this is an hypothesis. This is a hypothesis which is being built, which sounds negative, which is being built to encourage one to think about, are humans really responsible for it, right? So this is one very original way of thinking, and that's the part of the creativity that is called creativity, right? Which helps you to think through in a different landscape altogether, different matrix with different radars that you will have to operate with. All right. Now looking at the eclectics, eclectics seek to lead out and pull out of the situation, lead out or pull out of the situation what is value, no matter on which side it is to be found. Okay, so eclectics are those people who are scholars and smart thinkers for that matter. Uh, their job is to find where exactly the best solution lies. They don't party with anyone for that matter, or they don't party with one in particular for that matter, right? So they are not divisive people. They are not the people who will have their biases and opinions with them. The eclectics emphasis would be on designing forward rather than judgment at each stage. This is a beautiful sentence. I don't know. I have really collected all these things, and I will be sharing link to these articles, right, which you will be able to read from my uh, blog very soon. All right, so let's go back to what is MECE way. So MECE way. The Babram into pyramid principle, talks about MECE. MECE is mutually exclusive and collectively exclusive and collectively something like that. I don't know. Exhaustive, right? Here it is, right? Or MECE pronounced as MECE. MECE way is a popular way with their strategy consulting, including McKinsey, Bain, BCG in the world. Case interview that the companies filter their applicants through are designed to test whether you can think through MECE way. It is understand. So when you read it, you will be able to find, right. So MECE mutually exclusive is that there is no overlap. So when you are bringing things into perspective, talking about several things, are they impacting each other and therefore the problem, or aggravating together, or multiplying it, whatever, right? Or probably negating each other for that matter. If they are mutually exclusive, they stand for different things. This is what it is. The second is, let's move from here. Second is the collectively exhaustive. Collectively exhaustive is no gap. You cannot miss any of the aspects, any of the factors which are responsible and which are leading for any conclusion that you make or any decision that you arrive at. This is where it is. Thinking course by Debono. If you read this, you will find that the analysis, judgment, and argument not enough. This is what I had mentioned in the top line as well, in the subject line of introduction of my topic. Professor David Paskins at the Harvard has shown that almost all the errors of thinking are errors of perception. This is a very important statement. So my article, article which I have written is a collection of all these things which helps you in one place to find. You may not find it is written like a story or something, right? But it is a collection of all these anecdotal and those pieces of wisdom for that matter, right? So when I talk about the PMI tool, when you are analyzing something, right? PMI, P stands for plus, M stands for minus, and I stands for interesting, right? So good points, bad points, and interesting points, right? So PMI is one of the matrix that you can follow. Is some sort of correlation. Cortis stands for cognitive research and trust, right? Then a thinker should be able to say, I do not like your idea, But there are these interesting aspects. So that's why the PMI, right? Right. So another way of not agreeing or agreeing to disagree, what Amazon, one of the core principles says, is to follow PMI for that matter. What is positive is positive, just say this. What is negative is negative, say this. And what exactly is interesting is also interesting. If you really shy away from, or probably just do not want to get into positive and negative parts of it, rather interesting parts of it, or probably understand that it is better to highlight only the interesting parts, you can say that. ABCS stands for alternatives, possibilities, and choices. There's another idea today, you get a better idea tomorrow, and you get the best idea now. This or Sir Robert Watson Watt, the father of radar, had the saying, "There is a need of practical cutoffs and deadlines and freezing of designs, but you ever getting generate is you ever but is you never generate alternatives, but you never have a choice." Okay, generating alternatives open to possibilities, whatever it is. I may have copy pasted from somewhere, so that's how it is. The lumpers and the splitters, what brings things together and what is splitted things together. That's very interesting. That's part of the lateral thinking by Edward Debono. Sorry, I'm going all over the places, but only thing is that I just wanted to tell you that when you read this, you can pick up these nuggets, which are uh, no time consuming. Stepping stone method, escape method, random simulation method, these are the general methods of lateral thinking for that matter. You can further explore what exactly they mean. Ah, two other tools, CAF, consider all factors, this is important, right? CNS, consequences and sequel. Wow, sounds interesting. And here I've given the reference, from where I have taken. These are not hyperlinks, by the way, but yeah, it is easy to find. Go and do your own research. That's the safer thing to do. Okay, and in the process, you learn a lot of things other than what exactly you had been going for, right? It's like Columbus. Okay, seek to lead out of the eclectics, seek to lead out or pull out of the situation. For agreement, disagreement, irrelevance, DPV stands for other people's views. Sorry, OPV, my bad. OPV stands for other people's views. FIFO is FIFO in formation in and information out. That's very interesting. Okay, dense reading and dense listening. This is important. Questions fall in two categories: reading questions, SQs, and fishing questions. We dangle the bait in water and wait. What we can get is, fishing questions. And then there are questions which are reading questions. These are straight questions aiming for an answer in yes and no. Oh wow, that's very interesting. So let's stay there. I think we have taken 13 minutes or more of the time. I will share a link of this article with you, and I encourage you to research on Debono and critical thinking, Mentor's pyramid principle, and what exactly these said consulting firms are using as means of communication, why it is so important for them, and how do they use these tools, techniques, and models for their very insightful findings. So thank you for listening in, and talk to you in a different podcast. Bye bye.